Hi, happy Sunday. I hope you guys are all having a great day. Today we're going live to show you how to make a simple, easy fabric garland for the holidays, 4th of July. Back here along my buffet, I have the one I created. And yeah, so we're gonna make that today. I'll start off by saying, I guess my name is Birdie Larson with Redbird Designs, and we're just a small home company that makes home decor and all sorts of types of home decor, from wood to felt to wreaths to signs, and a lot of custom orders. So if you're wanting something custom for your house, a custom sign or something, message us and we'd love to help you out with that. We also make cornhole sets and just a wide variety of things. So yeah, and this project can be made all from stuff that you can get here locally in Glasgow, Montana, so you don't need to have a big box store, craft store for that. So I try and keep my crafts to things that we can find here locally, where we are limited to some things. So the garland that I made today and that we're gonna make today is about 36 inches long, but as you make yours, you can make it as long or short as you need it for your space. That's the great thing about doing it yourself. You can customize it to the space that you have to decorate. But it adds just instant holiday decor, super easy. So mine's 36 inches long, and what I show you I'll show you some different ways to either shorten that or lengthen that, depending on what you need. The length or the depth of mine hang down about 11 inches. And again, you can customize that to be shorter and fit your needs. So yeah, you're gonna need some ribbon, twine, jute. I have mine about 48 inches long. I like to make my string a little bit longer so that I can tie it off wherever I need to, but again, make it as long as you need it for your space. 5 fat quarters. So I've got 2 red, 2 white, and just a blue fabric. And you can get that at Crazy Women Quilts here in town. It's across from Holiday. And she has a ton of fat quarters already pre-cut, and then she'll also cut off the bolt if you ask her to, if there's a certain fabric that you want. The fat quarters, I believe, are $3.25 or $3.29, I can't remember, but $3.25, so you'll need 5 of those, so this craft is under $20. She has ribbon there. If you wanted to use a red ribbon or a white ribbon, you could, to tie the garland to. And then Aces downtown has twine, so if you don't have any of that, you can pick that up there, and they have small little rolls of it for like $3. So then you'll need scissors and some sort of ruler or something so that your strips are all the same size. And that's it. That's all you're gonna need. So we'll get started here. I probably won't complete the entire garland during the live video, but we will get started so that you can do it when you have time. So I'm gonna point you down to the table so you can see what I'm working on. There we go, and I'm gonna just pull you up on my other device so I can make sure to catch your comments. Give me just a second. And as you join, make sure to say hello so I can see that you're hopping on and catching this. And if you do the craft, I'd love to see your pictures of the ribbon you chose, or your finished product. So, okay. So to start with, I'm gonna just take the blue, and a fat quarter is essentially 18 inches by 22. So you'll get a piece of fabric like this when you buy the fat quarter. And sometimes you might see a strip along the edge that shows the type of fabric it is and the brand or any other information about the fabric. So the first thing you want to do is cut that off so we don't see that in our garland. So I'm going to just quickly cut that off here. Now the garland I made is about 11 inches long. So I cut my strips along the 22-inch length of the fat quarter. If you didn't want your garland to be quite as long, depth-wise, you could cut it along the 18-inch. So it has to be a cotton fabric though, because the way, well, I guess you don't have to use a cotton fabric, but if you wanted to use the tear method or the rip method, cotton works best that way. It rips right along the grain of the fabric and it creates a very straight rip there for you. So the method that I am using today, you do need a cotton fabric, but if you wanted to cut your strips with the scissors all the way, you could use a felt or burlap or some other fabric if you wanted to. Okay, so once you've got your little white strip cut off, then we're just going to take the fabric, and I'm going to just use this ruler as a guide. It doesn't need to be exact. As you put the fabric strips onto the ribbon or twine, it's not going to matter if one's 1/8 or of a 1/4 inch wider than the other. They all look great after it's done. So don't get too hung up on the process of this. So let me just make sure I'm cutting it right. So the 18-inch, I'm just going to lay it on my ruler, and I'm going to make my strips about 1.5 inches. So just a little snip here. Position this a little bit better so I can cut it. So just a general 1.5 inches. And so I've just created just a little snip here. And then from this point, you can simply just rip it down. And so now I've got a nice straight piece of fabric. And I personally like the rough edges that this leaves. Again, if you want to just cut your strips to have a clean cut garland, you can do that. You could also use pinking shears to give you the zigzag edges, and that would stop it from fraying as well. That looks good too. So you could also use those if you have those type of scissors, and that would give you a cute garland. So we're going to just continue on down, and really simple. We're just going to cut all our fabric at 1.5. I'll cut a couple more strips here. And then so you can see how that gives a nice fun edge. It's not too frayed, but kind of gives it a nice worn look. If you start to see a bunch of string at the end, just simply pull them off and you're good to go. So I'll cut a couple reds now. And we will do 1.5 inches. So if you cut it along the 18-inch width of the fabric at 1.5 inches, you're going to get about 12 strips per fat quarter. If you want your garland to be shorter in depth and hanging, and you cut it along the 22-inch length, you're going to get about 14 strips. So it's going to create a longer garland but short, and then if you do 18, you'll get a little bit shorter garland, but the depth will be a little bit longer. So again, a little snip and then just a rip. So this can be a great stress reliever, just ripping a bunch of fabric to create this garland. And this is something probably kids could help with. You know, if you get that snip started for them, they could do tug of war, and because of the way that cotton is created, when you rip it, it's going to rip along that grain, so you're going to get a straight edge no matter how the kids pull on it. So that could be something fun you could do with the kids too. Snip and then a rip. All right, now I'll do a white. got just a plain white, but you could use any white. I think it would be fun to have a white with some sort of design on it, whether it be little red stars or little yellow stars on it. That would be cute. Striped fabric would be really pretty. And as you work with the fabric, because we're ripping it, you will start to see some strings just kind of fray off of your edges. So I didn't mess with the strings until after I had the garland hung. And then I went back and kind of cleaned it up. So don't be too concerned about cleaning up the string edges as you're working, because you'll want to do that after it's finished anyways. All right. So I've got a couple strips here, so we'll get to getting it on the twine. So I'm gonna just find my middle point of my twine to start my garland, and then I'll work one way and then work the other. Because I'm gonna get about 12, I can kind of keep count and work 6 with the color this way, so 6 times the 5 colors and then 6 the other way. And then that way my twine's centered, but it really doesn't matter. You could start at the, give yourself some tie, give yourself maybe 12 inches to tie it off to whatever you're going to attach it to, and then start your garland and just work the one way, whatever you want to do. It is easy to move and adjust after you've attached them all, so not a big deal. All right, so we'll get started here. Just gonna lay this out. And I'm gonna start with my blue. And when you're tying your garland, you could do it a couple different ways. The way I did it was, well, I don't even know what it's called, but I came through and didn't do a normal shoelace tie. So I started out by holding my ribbon like this and putting both of the pattern side together, and then came up like that. And then what I'm going to do is, let's see if I can get this in the camera view here and do it backwards. So I have my string that I can see through my loop there, and I've got my 2 patterns up, and I'm going to kind of lift this up here. See if I can, how talented I am doing it backwards. But I'm gonna take my pattern side and I'm gonna go underneath towards me, but if I was doing it right side, it would be away from you. And I'm gonna come up through that loop and then come through that loop and then back down. So I get that, it almost looks like a bow tie. But that ensures that my pattern is going to hang forward instead of maybe looking like that. So let's do it again. And before, as you're working, don't pull it too tight and create a nice tight knot up at the top. It's harder to move and adjust if you tighten it too much, so keep it loose to start with, and then you can always go back after you've adjusted where all of your ribbon is on the twine, or excuse me, all your strips are on the twine or ribbon. You can go back and then tighten it up if you want, but it's a little easier to move if you keep it loose. So let's do another one. The white is the same pattern on both sides, so it doesn't really matter how you hold that one. Unless you have a patterned white, then you'll want to make sure your pattern's forward. So you're gonna hold it like this, and I'm gonna lay it on my ribbon, and I'm gonna go underneath with my pattern. So, come up through the hoop that you've created at the top, and then pull that through. And again, it's hard to tell how that one came out because, well, the white is the same on both sides, so it doesn't really matter. And then you can start to see those. And I love the look of that little bow tie at the top. So then we'll do a red. Make sure I'm in the camera view here. Let me back up. All right, so then the red, again, pattern forward, kind of stack together at the bottom, and then create your loop at the top. Lay it over your twine, and then bring your tails up through the hoop above the ribbon. So the ribbon's running right here, and I'm coming through that hoop, and then I just grab it with my other hand and kind of give it a little gentle tug. And there we go. Again, that just helps that color, the pattern, stay forward instead of, there we go. And you don't have to do a pattern with your strips. You could just do it all random and it would look great. I did on mine, I'll show you again at the end, but I did blue, and then I went white, red, and then blue. So that's why I have less, I only have one fat quarter of blue, but you could do 2 of each color and just do them random, and that would look great too. So fold your ribbon in half, and then stack at the bottom the 2 tails, and then create the loop at the top. Set it over your twine. Come up through the bottom, around the twine, and then I just hold it between my thumb and finger and give it a gentle tug. Again, don't pull too hard, because that allows you to have a little bit of leeway and moving it around to adjust the location of it, and then you can tighten it after you've got it exactly where you want. This might be easy too if you wanted to tie it to 2 chairs. You know, if you tied it to 2 chairs in front of you or wherever your workspace is, you could then have that right in front of you and see that a little bit better. Just an idea. All right, so then we'll do another red. And I don't have the other red cut, so I'm going to cut that real quick. I thought I cut it. So just make sure that you're cutting it along the length that you want each time, whether that be the 18 or the 22. And we're going to cut and make a snip at 1.5 about. Again, don't be too concerned about it, because of the way that the strips fall on your garland. You're really not going to notice if it's 1 1/8 or 1/4 inch off or whatever. Just a general guide. So, all right, so we'll rip that. And that gives us another different red to put on our garland. So we're going to make sure that it's about halfway, and then open that up, but then we want to make sure that our patterns are on top of each other for the tails, and then lay it over our twine so that we can see the twine through there. And then we're going to try and lift this up so you can still see it. We're going to take our tails, keep them stacked, bring it up through the hoop, on top of the twine, and then hold the twine with one hand and just give it a gentle tug on the other. And again, it makes that really cute little bow tie. Or not bow tie, looks like a tie, a man's tie. And then you can scoot it down and adjust it. So there we go. Instant holiday decor, and this would be great for any holiday. Christmas, you could get Christmas fabric, you could get Halloween fabric, you could do it for a birthday. I know a few people who have a garland that they made for their babies, and they bring it out every birthday, And how great would that be to have that in a picture throughout the years of your kids? I did not do that, but anyways. So you could do it for a birthday, you could do it for really any event, and it's super easy and fun. All right, so then now that I've got the red there, I'm gonna do a blue next. Hi, Tori. I'm just seeing you guys started to join. Hi, Elise. How are you? And this is a great way to use up fabric scraps if you have them. You could also, instead of using this method to tie it, you could simply just tie it with a knot, a shoelace knot. If your fabric was shorter and you tied it with a knot, you would get kind of a poofy garland as opposed to one that hangs. If you did a shorter strip. So you could simply just tie this as well off like that and then bunch them together and adjust it, and that would work too. The tie method like this again would be great with shorter fabric because you'd get a poofy type of garland. So hopefully everyone's enjoying the nice weather today. It has been raining for the past couple days, and let me tell you, I've had no energy to do anything on those rainy days. I woke up today to the sun and I was like, yes, I'm gonna get stuff done today. All right, so fold your fabric in half and then create the loop at top and stack your fabric on top. So your two tails are gonna stack right on top of each other. Let me see if I can pull that back, sorry. Pattern side up, stack them on top of each other and create that loop on top. Lay that over your twine, and then I'm gonna lift this up here. You're gonna take your tails, go underneath, behind, keeping that your tails stacked, come up over the twine through the hoop, grab your twine and give it just a little tug. And if it gets twisted when you've done that and it starts to, your fabric isn't laying right, you can always twist it. Like this one here, it kind of got twisted and so I'm seeing the back of that fabric. Well, after you're all done, you can always just give it a little twist and then it will lay straight for you. So very forgiving, very easy. And look how great that looks already. Wait, next. All right, so we'll do a couple more and then I will let you go. Thanks everyone for coming. All right, so fold in half, loop at top. This is white fabric on both sides, so again, it doesn't really matter. Stack your patterns on the same side. I don't have it right, okay. So there we go. Lay it over your twine, bring it up behind, come over the twine but through the hoop, and then give it a gentle tug. And then you can adjust where it lays on your twine or ribbon. You can use yarn, whatever you have. You could even use another strip of fabric as the base if you had a long enough piece. All right, and then a red. So fold it in half, stack your pattern tails on the bottom. And for some reason, this one is super short. I wonder if I cut it the wrong way. Well, it looks like I didn't pay attention to where I was cutting this one, but we'll do it anyways. So there we go. This one's a little shorter. So now you can see the difference between the sizes. So I must have cut this the 18 inches, and then these ones I cut along the 22 inches. So you can see the difference in size. You would get a shorter garland, but you'd get more pieces so you could cover a longer strip there. So yeah, and then I've got some excess red string here. After you're done, just come through and cut that off. If you didn't line up your bottoms just right at the end, you could trim those. Again, very forgiving craft and looks great. So thanks for coming, guys. Oh, hi, Taylor. That's all I have for you today, and hopefully you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you later. Thanks. Oh, let me show you one more time what we made in case of those who didn't see the beginning. So there's the one I made. I just have it hanging on my shelf above my buffet. And again, that one is 36 inches long, and it's about, hangs down about 11 inches. So that's your finished product. And yeah, if you do it the other way, it'll be shorter. So make it to your space. And thanks for watching, guys. Talk to you later.